stuff.
Basically just SoCal. All right, time to bring on the one, the only, Sean O'Connell, who hit me with I'm living my life, Lois. When I asked him if he was going to join us, he does join us just a little bit tardy, not a huge deal. Follow him on Twitter at Real OC Sports. He is a man that I worked with in the Bay Area. He showed up to his show with he could not look out of one of his eyes because it was literally a grapefruit. He won $1 million on New Year's Eve in New York as he won the prize for winning the Professional Fighters League. Now he does the play-by-play for the Professional Fighters League. He also does a show that might go extinct, or maybe he's going to find another spot or another niche, but the Pac-12 is going by the wayside. He is Sean O'Connell. He's also my good friend, as you can tell by the intro. Sean, how are you, sir?
Doing all right. How are you guys doing?
No complaints, living the dream. I'm looking at the top 25, Sean, and I'm going, okay, USC, Pac-12, ranked 5th. Washington, Pac-12, ranked 8th. Oregon, depending on where you are, 10. 11, as you were in Salt Lake in your backyard. Utah is at 11. Then we have Oregon State, not normally a powerhouse, but they're in the top 15 at 14. You keep going. We all know about Dion. He's up to 19 at this point. Another team that's not normally a powerhouse, Washington State, they're at 21. You got UCLA, who's fallen on some bad times. They're at 22. You would look at that, Sean, and you'd go, this is like like the SEC. This is a powerhouse in college football, and they're going bye-bye next year. Before we get into all the details, can you just give us a simple answer of, other than money, why?
Well, there is no other answer other than money, right? I mean, money is what did this. Money was the driving force behind the departure of USC and UCLA first, and then Colorado next, and Washington and Oregon, and it's money and it's television networks driving all of this change, and it's super unfortunate. And it is the most Pac-12 thing ever that in the final year, the throes of death happens to be a team with 8 top 25 squads, a conference, I should say, with 8 top 25 squads. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, 4 of the best 10 quarterbacks in college football definitively are in the Pac-12 conference, and you can make a case for more of them. And yet this thing is going to go extinct next year. There probably will be a brand called the Pac something, be a reverse merger, because Oregon State and Washington State still own the branding rights, and they're going to add Fresno and whoever else, right, that wants to be part of that. So we all know that whatever that Pac-8, Pac-10, Pac-12 is called is going to be a diminished brand. So thanks for salting that wound. I appreciate that.
Sorry, bud. I love you.
Let's talk about the here and now then. This weekend, there's tons of good action, specifically in the Pac-12. I mean, there's 3 matchups of top 25 teams just in the Pac-12. What matchup excites you the most this weekend?
Well, I'm a Utah guy. Utah-UCLA is, I think, super intriguing because if Cam Rising, the starting quarterback for Utah, is back and healthy, then they're a team that can compete for a conference championship, which would make 3 straight for the Utes.
Wow.
If he's not, and if they continue to have to go through the motions without him, I think this is where you run into some trouble, right? They're 3-0 so far without him, but UCLA is a really good team. UCLA's got one of the best pass rushers in the country in Leatu Latu, and that's not who you want coming after a guy in his second start if Nate Johnson ends up getting the start again. So that's a really intriguing matchup for me, because these are 2 physical teams that are going to try and slug it out. And obviously everyone in the country is going to have their sights on Colorado, Oregon, because you saw some of the chinks in the armor for Colorado last week against Colorado State. And Oregon is a team that I think is built to exploit some of the weaknesses that Colorado showed. But Colorado is a well-coached team. They have a lot of talent on the edges. So that's going to be a fun matchup one way or the other.
Sean O'Connell, follow him on Twitter at Real OC Sports. Joins us, Zakariah and Watkins, here on Sactown Sports 1140. Let's get to, it's been the talk of the town. I know it's shined a lot more attention on college football than it's gotten in a long time. To me, it can only be a good thing. And you see the ratings. I believe they damn near outrated Alabama 2 weeks ago. And then this past weekend, I believe it was the highest rated ESPN college football night game ever. It's been nothing but positivity, right? I know there's old school people, take off your hat and your sunglasses or whatever, but for the most part, it's bringing in casual fans to pay more attention to the sport.
Colorado and what Deion is doing in Boulder right now is the future of college football in a name, image, and likeness era, in a transfer portal era, in a gradually more and more professional era of college sports. You have a guy who is the ultimate cult of personality. He's incredibly charismatic, but he also knows how to coach. It's not just a gimmick, right? Deion Sanders is a guy who's developing these individuals as players. By all accounts, he's developing them as young men. And this is just the beginning. Last year, Colorado was the worst roster in Power 5 football. Might have been the worst roster in Division I football. And now they're a ranked team. Do I think they're going to be a Pac-12 champion this year, a college football playoff team this year? Absolutely not. But the fact that we're watching it and we're talking about it, and every college football show is traveling to Boulder 1 year after they were the laughing stock of the entire country.
College game day.
The Rock was in the locker room next to Deion's mother last weekend after the win. Like, this guy is just doing something that is so unique and special and incredible, and his players deserve a ton of credit too. I mean, Travis Hunter, who got injured, his lacerated liver in that game, the way that he handled the questions about the late hit, tell me everything I need to know about the culture of Colorado football, everything I need to know about what Deion is teaching these guys, everything I need to know about the character of somebody like Travis Hunter. I mean, they are in it for the long haul. They are in it for the big picture. And this is not going to be a flash in the pan. I hope they can keep Deion in Boulder because he is building something really, really special.
And part of what makes them so special has been the performance of his son, Shedeur, who's been a fantastic all year long at quarterback. But he's not really the only Pac-12 quarterback who's been putting up noise. I mean, obviously, Caleb Williams wins the Heisman last year. UW's got themselves quite the quarterback there as well. How would you power rank the top? Just give me like the top three quarterbacks right now in the Pac-12, because it feels like it's a quarterback division right now.
Yeah, well, Caleb Williams still gets the top spot because he's the returning Heisman Trophy winner. He's basically played a half of each of their first three games and already has insane numbers and insane production, right?
Yeah.
He's number one. If it's 1A and 1B, the 1B right behind him or standing shoulder to shoulder with him is the guy you mentioned, Michael Penix Jr. From the University of Washington. 3 games, 3 impressive performances. Boise, Tulsa, and Michigan State are not the best talent they're going to face this year, but they're all teams with real players. There's an NFL defender or two on each of those rosters, and he's got 1,330 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 1 interception through 3 games.
3 games. That's crazy.
And then, I think you got to give credit to Shedeur for what he's done. Like, if you got to find the 3 spot, I think that goes to Shedeur Sanders right now, especially because he had that 98-yard comeback drive that allowed them to beat Colorado State. Should they have been in that position against the mid-level Mountain West Conference team? Probably not. But everything's crazy in rivalry games and in-state games. And the fact that he engineered that drive and that the 2 scores in overtime and the 2-point conversion in overtime, the dude makes really good decisions with the football, handles his business. So if you got to go 1, 2, 3, that's how I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
We'll get you out of here on this and take your time because we're going to go a little bit long here. But number one, I want you to just touch on how badly botched, because it seemed like the main reason why the Pac-12 is going bye-bye is because they couldn't get a TV deal done. So explain how close that got, how much they were fighting over peanuts. I mean, how much that was at the crux of everything. And then also tell the people where they can find and hear you, and let us know, for a casual fighting fan like me, some events that are going to round out the calendar year, some fights that we should look forward to as we get towards the end of the year.
Okay, I'll start with the terrible job that Pac-12 leadership did that ended up killing a 108-year-old conference. Okay? We've seen now the postmortem, all the examinations, the autopsy, so to speak. There was a conversation with ESPN sometime, I don't know if it was last November, it was last summer, whatever, where they said the Pac-12 wanted $50 million per year per school. And ESPN said, no, we'll give you in the neighborhood of 30. Pac-12 said, no, we want 50. And so ESPN effectively was out at that point. And as soon as one of those major players removes themselves from the negotiation, removes themselves from the competition, the number comes down for everybody. And then if you fast forward to when they actually got a deal done for the Big 12, when the teams that are going to the Big 10 decided on what their figure is going to be per year per school, do you guys want to take a rough guesstimate on what that number actually looks like?
So they wanted 50. ESPN said 30. Teams left. I'm guessing it went all the way down to, I like this over-under game. I'm going to go 12.
I would have said closer to, I'll say 20.
Well, 30-ish million is
That's what I would have put. Yeah.
Is what they're going to take, is what Oregon and Washington are going to take to go to the Big Ten. UCLA and USC get a full share right away, so they're going to be making 60 to 80 very soon. All of the teams, the four corner schools that decided to go to the Big 12, they're going to get roughly $32 million a year from the television contract. Cal and Stanford are taking a reduced share in the ACC because they had nowhere else to go. They're going to end up with far less than that in the initial running. But the point is, all of these schools were okay with taking $30 million in that neighborhood per year per school. And the conference and the president and the people in power said, no, we don't want that from you, ESPN. Well, guess what? The conference died because of that decision. Because you said, we're worth 50, you think we're worth 30. You forced them away from the negotiating table, and then everyone had to jump ship. That's just disgusting to me. And the reason why these numbers were so low from the television networks, by the way, was because everyone said no one wants to watch West Coast football. No one wants to watch Pac-12 branded football. Let's rewind this conversation 5 minutes and tell me 9.3 million viewers for Colorado, who was the worst team in the conference last year. Like, if Dion had been the coach in Boulder while this television negotiation was happening, they might have got their $50 million. They would have at least gotten $35 million per year per school. So I don't think I need to do more to paint a picture of how terrible that failure was.
Yeah.
All right. Where can we find you, and what fight should we look up to?
PFL Championship is coming on Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. We'll be on ESPN for the undercard. We'll be on pay-per-view for the main card. 6 championship fights, 6 $1 million prizes handed out. We're in Washington, D.C. the day after Thanksgiving. So watch your NFL Black Friday game, and then after that, dial up the pay-per-view and watch me calling some fights. Nice. And you can find me during this football season on SiriusXM channel 373 on Pac-12 Today with my buddy Jeff Schwartz. You can follow me at Real OC Sports on all the socials.
All right, and best UFC fight that you're looking forward to this year?
The best UFC fight I'm looking forward to? John Jones, Stipe Miocic is coming up. Heavyweight championship of the world in New York City. Might be John Jones' last fight. I don't like the character of the man, but he is the best fighter ever to walk the face of this planet in the sport of mixed martial arts, and he might be going out on top.
And I called him Jim earlier, and I said that he was my favorite fighter, as I often call you out of name. Sean, always appreciate your time, man. Enjoy what you got left. I'm sure you're going to find something. I mean, maybe you'll go to the ACC, and you'll be flying to North Carolina to cover games, or who knows, man. That's going to be so weird when, I guess for basketball, it'd be kind of cool. North Carolina, Cal. I can go to Berkeley and catch a Cal Bear North Carolina game.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Regionally, makes perfect sense.
I know. And what's really going to stink that nobody's talking about is the sports that get funded by football, since the costs are going to go up for the traveling, are going to go by the wayside. But anyways, thank you for joining us, Sean. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me, fellas. Enjoy the show.
All right, there you go. That guy, I could have went to his fight for $1 million in New York City on New Year's Eve, and I did not go. One of my biggest mistakes.
That's on you.
Could have been ringside. That is a flag on me. 15-yard variety. I might even get thrown out for targeting. All right, coming